So remember New World? Oh man, do I have a story for you. Way back in the earlier parts of New World, around October, November-ish, there was a fun couple of glitches that I was able to combine and abuse, not only to be able to travel around the world at light speed, but also fly and no clip through anything. And what this allowed me to do was I was able to fly through any wall I wanted and loot chests while not getting aggro from bosses or monsters or anything, and I could travel extremely hyper quickly. Oh, and I was invisible the entire time. So yes, not only could no other player see me do this, I can literally invisible no clip fly like I'm some sort of admin. And here's a few ways of how I did it, okay? Now, one method is currently fixed in the live servers of New World, but the other methods still work. I'm not going to tell you how to do those methods. I'm going to hold on to those, and maybe one day I might release them to channel members only, but probably not, because if the game ever has a resurgence or comes back, I want, you know, an ace up my sleeve to have an edge over other players since I won't have a guild or friends to play with. Okay, let's get into the story, alright? So, you can Google this too. They're like, the method's probably been patched, maybe, maybe not, you never know. In New World, sometimes old glitches always come back with new patches, so you should always be trying these things out, but there is a certain island in the game that is filled with rabbits, and one of those rabbits is called Stanley, and you can go pet Stanley. So what you had to do was you had to lure Stanley up a slanted rock on that little island. It's not really an island, it's just like a little area surrounded by water. And you get him on this slanted piece of rock, you stand on the edge of it, and then you pet him. And what happens is the animation for some reason will clip you into the ground slightly, but once you're done petting him, you'll notice that you're just hovering in the air. And the way that you fly upwards is you have to like run, or hover rather, on slanted hills, and that will make you go up, and if you manage to get on equal ground, your feet will be planted and you can run down hills, but if you jump off a cliff, you'll still hover. So that's how you go up and down in flight mode. Now, while in this flight mode, you were also able to pass through any barrier or obstacle, wall, player, unit, monster, anything. You basically became a ghost. You didn't become a ghost, you became no clip, you know, like in a Gmod or an old Source game, like a Half-Life game. You would be able to just float through anything, essentially. So, what this allowed you to do was go behind walls where mobs will lose aggro on you, or just go straight to really rare treasure chests and loot them. But you can combine this glitch with more. If you would go to anywhere where you owned a house, or just previewed someone else's house, you didn't have to own a house, you can go into their house, which turns your character invisible to the outside world while you're in the house. But because you can no-clip, this means that you can technically leave the house and still interact with the rest of the open world. This turned you completely invisible, allowing you to explore the world without worrying about other players seeing this and reporting you for it. But also a fun thing to do in ghost float mode is you can, you know, use your voice chat and people can hear you but they can't see you, so you could do a lot of fun spooky things. And this is one thing that I did. I would follow players around, and at the time of discovering this, the servers weren't completely dead, but at some point while having fun with this glitch, the server population dropped to like 40, so it was really hard to find players anyway. But I would float around other players and I would play soundboards, and they would be like, "Where's that coming from?" Like they would start talking in the voice, and you could be like, "Hello, I am Game Master from Amazon. How are you today?" and stuff. And it's like, you cannot see me, but you can hear me, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And you could just have a lot of fun with them, okay? I never actually used it to harm or to, you know, ruin a player's experience. I just used it to have a little bit of fun and a laugh. I mostly used it to chest farm, though, to try to get those rare furniture recipes, and I never got them, so I didn't really benefit or profit from this glitch. But there was one other glitch that you can combine with all of this to make it super awesome, and that was the speed glitch, which on my channel I have put out videos on how to do the speed glitch. Even when it got fixed the first time, there was still another way to do it, and that one I think got fixed too, but you never know when it'll get reintroduced. But there is still a way to glitch your speed, but it requires having friends and using certain weapon abilities that you can still do to this day that still works. And what you did was, once you glitch your speed, you would just travel super, super, super fast, and you could turn it on and off with the run walk button, so you could always hide it from other players if you're not invisible yet. But what you did was you got speed glitched. Then you fly, or you speed run over to Stanley, you do the pet glitch to get your flight and your, no-clip abilities, and you run to a house. Usually, like, there was a town very, very close, especially if you could travel at light speed and over water, by the way. And then you just enter the house, and then you just fly out of the house with your no-clip, and you're free to loot and just do all sorts of things. Now, you weren't invisible to mobs. Players couldn't see you, but mobs could still know you're there. So you could aggro mobs, and they would just be swinging at ghosts in the air, and it would really, like, trip out other players, right? But with that said, you could also, like, PvP other players. You can just fly in the air and shoot them with a rifle, and they can't see where it's coming from. You could drop fireballs on them, okay? But my main use was you could fly through walls and just loot, like, elite zone chests without worrying about, being killed or attacked. Because if you were under the ground or behind a wall, the mobs wouldn't aggro you. And that was the main use of this glitch for me. Now, you could also do this in dungeons, and you could just fly through the dungeon. And the interesting thing is if you break, like, the sequence of the dungeon, when you kill a boss, you get the loot from the boss. But at the time, I don't know if this ever got fixed because I don't really play anymore. If you left the room and came back, the game doesn't, acknowledge that you killed the boss, so the boss would just respawn, and you can just infinitely farm the boss. I think some people did this later on and either got banned for it or it got fixed. I don't know because I don't really keep up with New World stuff anymore because the game kind of died. But it was really fun to, you could solo any boss in the game with this glitch too, because they can't fight back and you're flying. So you just had to rifle them in the head a bunch of times until they died and just bring lots of ammo. And it's kind of like farming those open world mobs where they wouldn't be able to fully aggro you. Lots of fun, lots of profit to be made, and these glitches, you can still do them in the current version of the game, because I know a few people that still play, and they still abuse the hell out of this. And besides the bots that are just, like 33% of the population of 20,000 people that still play, you have the glitchers and the hackers. There's still dupe methods in this game. Like, if I ever wanted to come back, I have like 3 working dupe methods that I can just freaking 0 to hero myself in under a day, like on a new account if I wanted. The game has never been fixed. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to share this fun story that these things are still possible in the game. I'm SwolBenji, thanks for watching. As always, be a bro and stay swole. If you want to help me out financially, click the thanks button. Make sure you subscribe because I got videos every day, not so much on New World, but hey, I try to make a video every day. Thank you so much, lads, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, and thank you for watching all the way through. That really does help out my channel. I've just got to hit that 8-minute mark. I hope you understand. And 8 minutes achieved, baby.